Hey friends, full reactions in the link in the description below, so pause, leave a like, really helps the channel, subscribe, and come back after you watch the reaction for the discussion. Give you some time to do that. Review and commentary starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Well, I got what I freaking asked for. I got to see Mirio catch up to Eri and save her. Ugh, I hate this episode, and I love it at the same time. Mirio shows off why he's closest to number one, but also how can you do that to Mirio? God damn it. He might have become my favorite character in just half season that we've known him, and he worked so hard to learn how to use his quirk effectively only to see it ripped away from him. It's too painful. Like this man, if One for All didn't exist, he'd be the next number one for a very, very long period of time. You could feel it. Like Overhaul is capable of destroying Rappa, and Rappa and Fat Gum fought an extremely close battle, and yet Mirio faced Overhaul and like several, I think 3 of his allies, and he was winning like no problem. And he was protecting Eri and still kicking their asses. And it feels like our world lost a giant today, and I say our world as if Mirio is a real damn person. I, I think I need a new shirt with Mirio on it. Can it just be like his face popping out of my shirt? Is that ridiculous? Anyway, I'm gonna go look for that afterwards. But honestly, this feels way worse than All Might losing his power. Like All Might was a hero for decades, and his powers were slowly dwindling due to his injury and passing his quirk on to Deku. So we were prepared for it to happen. His retirement felt more triumphant than anything after finally taking down All for One. But Mirio losing his quirk is a goddamn tragedy. I mean, it was just last episode when I was saying that Himiko Toga is still really powerful in battle even without using her quirk. And I wondered if there were any powerless heroes out here. Mirio, he freaking smiled as he took that bullet for Eri. He wants to protect her heart. And I'm wondering if he can be a hero without a quirk. That moment, the villain started to think about how he could hit Mirio. I figured out what I would do, which is just aim at Eri, and I kept being like, no, don't do it. Because I knew Mirio would dive right in, and he took it with a smile so that Eri wouldn't be afraid. Man. What else even happened this episode? I'm just too focused on Mirio and him losing his power. And oh yeah, that part with didn't Shigaraki like tell you to betray the Shie Haisaikai? Like that's what I was thinking when they questioned Overhaul questioned Toga and Twice. But a friend of mine let me know that no, like actually Shigaraki just implied it, and this is a finicky quirk where you kind of need to ask exactly what you want the answer to and leave no room for interpretation. So apparently Shigaraki didn't say, yeah, you're gonna betray them. So that's the way that turned out. And then back to the present, Twice and Toga, they get Mimic all riled up and allow Deku to break the wall around him and have Eraserhead cancel his quirk. And for just a short moment, the League and the heroes work together. And I don't know that we'll have much common ground after this arc, but it's a kind of a team up, right? And yeah, it turns out Overhaul was lying about being Eri's father, which, I mean, in the end, it doesn't make that much of a difference. I guess it would have been worse if he was experimenting on his own daughter, but it's still absolutely horrible that he's experimenting on her regardless of his relation to her. But yeah, Mirio continued to protect Eri, and Overhaul was completely okay with damaging her because he's done it before and he's put her back together, so he's the worst. Like, he literally had all these advantages in this fight, outnumbered Mirio, could attack Eri freely, and he still had to resort to quirk-canceling bullets to get the upper hand. But yeah, Mirio has proven that he can still be a great hero even without his quirk. I mentioned before, Rappa gets destroyed immediately every time he goes after Overhaul, but Mirio was still on his feet for so long, still fighting for Eri after his quirk got taken away. He's still Lemillion regardless. And yeah, I don't know if it's gonna stick, this whole quirk being taken away thing. It feels like it has to because it feels like the tone of this series has shifted drastically with this arc now that we've gotten to see real hero work. Even though our students have been attacked in the past, they were largely still insulated because they had their teachers around. But here in the real world, there are real consequences. And I don't think we've ever actually seen like a significant character die before. And if we suddenly just gave uh, Mirio his power back at the end of the arc, it feels like it would be uh, too happy of an ending for this tone shift that I think the author is going for. But yeah, Mirio eventually starts taking damage, and just as it seems Overhaul is about to win, Deku comes through the wall. I wish Mirio had gotten there just a little later, or that Deku had gotten there just a little bit earlier. But yeah, I'd be very surprised if Deku is able to take down Overhaul, but at least Mirio isn't alone anymore. There's some comfort in that. And we know that Eri trusts Deku on some level as well. For 8 episodes, I've been like, "Where's Eri? We got to get her back." And now that we've arrived, I've barely even talked about her, because of this whole Mirio thing. But the way she was so scared and just wanted Mirio to leave her. No matter how much Mirio smiles, she might still feel more guilty about her quirk causing more and more destruction. And she doesn't even care about dying and being brought back anymore. She just wants others to not get hurt on her behalf. And Deku was the first time she felt warmth or safety, and he's here now, so I'm glad he's here for her sake and for Mirio's sake. The thing is, Deku's quirk is extremely powerful, but he can't fully wield it yet, and he's not fully proficient with it yet. And so I don't think he'll be a big enough problem for Overhaul that he'd risk using another one of his remaining bullets on him. But I am worried that he'll be sick. Worried that Deku will be in significant danger just from fighting Overhaul. Again, Rappa immediately destroyed every time he went after Overhaul. Is Deku better than Rappa at this point? Significantly better that he won't get destroyed immediately? I'm not so sure. And yeah, after all this is over, Mirio's gonna need his friends. He'll keep putting up a brave face for Eri, but when he's alone and he has to deal with all these emotions that come with losing such an important part of him, I need his friends, Amajiki, Nejire, Night Eye, Deku. They all need to be there for him. And I desperately, desperately want to see him continue being a hero, even though it seems highly unlikely without his quirk. I don't know. I was a mess this episode, though. This was definitely like I hated what happened to Mirio, and this is the most distraught I've been. But I have to give this an 11 out of 10 because this is the most invested I've ever been in the show. And I mean, this feels like the climax of the entire arc. Like, how do you top this, right? I mean, but I've asked this before several times throughout the series, and they still wind up topping what they've done before. I think the first time was Todoroki versus Deku, and I was like, yeah, I don't know how they're ever going to top this in this entire series. And then we had All Might versus All for One, which I'm not entirely sure surpasses that in like entirely. In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. But yeah, my point is, I keep thinking, how will they top this? Thinking they never could. And even though this is the pinnacle of everything I love about the series, these amazing emotional fights, now when I ask how will they top this, I fully expect it to be topped somewhere down the line. Speaking of which, I also expect Bakugo to be topped somewhere down the line. That's just a little joke to lighten the mood after a heart-wringer of an episode. But yeah, 11 out of 10. Spectacular. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like. Really helps with the channel, and I'll see you guys next time with more. Bye, friends.